You know how the internet feels endless, right? How you can scroll for hours and hours and still feel like you've only scratched the surface. But behind that everyday browsing, there are places no one should ever stumble into. I used to be just like everyone else, scrolling through forums, watching random videos, diving into those weird subreddits at 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. But then, I found something that still haunts me to this day. Something I've never been able to explain. Something that feels more like a curse than a memory. It started on a quiet summer night. I was home alone, bored, just browsing YouTube. I had my headphones on, lights off, and that strange comfort of being alone in the dark, with nothing but the glow of the screen in front of me. I clicked on a random video recommendation, a title I can't remember now. But what I do remember is the channel name. It was just a string of numbers. No profile picture, no banner, nothing. Almost like the account wasn't meant to be found. The video itself was strange. No talking, no music, just static at first. Then slowly, through the grainy footage, I saw a room. A plain white room with nothing inside it, except a chair. And in the corner, the faint shape of someone standing. The figure didn't move, didn't even breathe, just stood there, as if they'd been waiting for me to watch. I clicked off immediately, thinking it was some creepy art project, but curiosity got the better of me. I went back to the channel, and that's when I saw something that made my skin crawl. Each video had a date for a title, and when I scrolled down, I found one with tomorrow's date on it. I clicked, and this time the camera wasn't showing a plain room. It was showing a street I recognized instantly, because it was the street I lived on. The video was shaky, filmed from inside a car at night. It drove slowly past houses, my neighbors' houses, and then it stopped right in front of mine. The footage zoomed in on my window, my bedroom window, the same window I was sitting at that moment, watching the video, and then the camera cut to black. I slammed my laptop shut and yanked off my headphones. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought I was going to pass out. I didn't sleep that night, didn't even move from my room. I just sat there with the lights on, staring at my curtains, waiting for something to happen. The next day, I told myself it had to be some coincidence. Maybe a prank, maybe fake. But when I went back to look for the channel, it was gone, like it had never existed. Every trace of it wiped clean. A few days later, I started noticing weird things. An unfamiliar car parked down the street. Footsteps outside my window at night. Once, when I checked my phone in the middle of the night, I saw a notification. A message request from an account I didn't recognize. It said only one thing: I see you. When I tried to click on it, the message disappeared, and so did the account. I never told anyone, not even my closest friends, because who would believe me? I've searched for years, trying to find that channel again, trying to prove it wasn't just my imagination, but nothing ever comes up. Some people say it was just a dream. Others say I fell into some rabbit hole I shouldn't have. But deep down, I know what I saw was real. And to this day, every time I sit in front of my computer at night, I close my curtains because I can't shake the feeling that someone, somewhere, is still watching. I've never really talked about this before, mostly because I still don't know how to explain it without sounding insane. But what happened to me a few summers ago on the internet wasn't a dream. It wasn't a glitch. It was real, and I'm still terrified of what it means. Back in 2019, I was deep into late-night browsing. I had this habit of going down rabbit holes when I couldn't sleep. Weird message boards, forgotten websites, archived pages that hadn't been updated in years. It was like exploring abandoned buildings. But digitally, you never knew what you might find. That night I was scrolling through a forum about urban legends. Most of it was the usual ghost stories, creepy pictures, fake videos, but one thread caught my eye. It was called "Don't Answer the Blue Question." It only had a handful of replies, but the original post was strange. It said something like, "If the message finds you, don't answer it. No matter what. Don't click. Don't type back. Don't even look too long." The comments were full of people calling it fake, asking what it meant, joking about it. I thought it was just another internet myth, but curiosity kept me scrolling. Until I noticed something chilling. The last reply on the thread had been posted just 10 minutes ago, and the username was my full name. First and last, I froze, because I had never made an account on that site. I had never even visited that forum before. I refreshed the page, and the reply was gone. Like it had been erased instantly. I told myself it was a coincidence. A creepy coincidence. But still, I closed the site and tried to forget about it. 2 nights later, it happened again. I was on my laptop, headphones in, watching videos at 3 a.m. when I got a pop-up. It wasn't an ad. It wasn't a notification. It was just a blue box in the middle of my screen with one sentence in plain text. It said, "Do you want to know when you will die?" I almost laughed. At first, it felt like one of those cheap internet scare tricks. But then I realized something. The blue box wasn't from my browser. It wasn't from any program I had open. It was floating over everything, like it wasn't even part of my laptop at all. There were 2 buttons, yes and no. But when I tried to close it, my mouse froze. My keyboard stopped working. The only thing I could do was choose. I panicked and shut the laptop, pulled the plug from the wall, sat there in the dark with my heart racing. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I turned my laptop back on. Everything seemed normal. No pop-ups, no glitches. For a moment I thought maybe I had hallucinated it from exhaustion. Until I opened my email. At the top of my inbox was a new message. No sender, no subject, just one line of text inside. "You can't shut me out." I deleted it instantly, shaking. But over the next week, more came, always from no sender. Always short, always personal. One said, "You shouldn't stay up so late." Another said, "You forgot to lock your door last night." The worst one came on a Saturday. I had just come home, around 11 p.m. I checked my phone and saw a new message. It said, "You look good in that red shirt." I was wearing a red shirt. I was still wearing it. As I read the message, I dropped my phone and ran through my apartment, checking every lock, every window. Nothing was broken. Nothing was open. But the thought that someone had been watching me made me feel sick. Eventually, the emails stopped. I never saw the blue box again. But sometimes, when I'm online late at night, I catch little flashes of it, like my screen flickers blue for a split second, just enough for me to remember that it's still out there, waiting for me to answer the question. Back in 2014, I was in college, and I used to spend way too much time on old internet forums, and there was one site in particular I liked. It felt like a forgotten corner of the web, where people shared strange experiences, old photographs, and stories. Nobody else cared about the site. Itself looked ancient, with a gray background, clunky menus, and usernames from accounts that hadn't logged in for years. And one night, while scrolling through the lost media section, I found a thread called The Mirror Folder. The title didn't make much sense, but the post described something unusual. It said there was a hidden folder online that wasn't hosted anywhere. It wasn't a website, wasn't part of the dark web, wasn't even on any server. It was just there, and sometimes at random, your computer would open it on its own. Most people in the comments laughed it off. Some said it was just a virus. Others claimed it was a hoax, meant to scare people. But a few replies stood out. They described the same exact thing, a plain white folder that appears on your desktop. And when you open it, it shows a list of images and text files. But the files weren't random. They were from your own life. Pictures of your room, your family, your school, photos. You never took text documents with your name, your birthday, your secrets, things you never told anyone. I kept reading until I saw the last post in the thread, and it froze me in place. It came from a blank profile. No name, no avatar, and it was posted only minutes earlier. And the message said, "Check your desktop." My stomach dropped. I minimized my browser, and there it was, sitting in the corner of my screen, a folder that hadn't been there before. I hesitated, but I clicked it inside. Were only 3 files. The first was a photo of me, sitting at my desk, taken from behind, as if someone had been in the room just seconds earlier. The second was a text file. I opened it, and it said, "You shouldn't have looked." The third was a video. I pressed play, and I felt my chest tighten. It was footage of me sleeping. The camera was close to my face. I could hear my breathing. I could hear my fan, and see the faint glow of the streetlight outside my window. But the thing is, I live alone. No one could have filmed me like that. I slammed the laptop shut, yanked the power cord, and shoved it into my closet. I didn't sleep that night, and the next day I convinced myself it was just a virus, some cruel hacker maybe. But when I turned the laptop back on, the folder was gone. I wiped the hard drive. I bought a new one. I changed every single password for a while. I thought I was safe, until a few weeks later, while saving a paper, I saw it again in my directory, like it had always been the mirror folder. It doesn't matter how many times I replace my computer or reset everything every few months, it comes back, and I know if I open it again, I'll see something worse.